Did you know that the US has over 95,000 miles of shoreline? And despite it being way more expensive to live, 40% of Americans live in a coastal area. When someone thinks of vacation, most people imagine palm trees and pina coladas on a private beach somewhere. It isn't just living near the coast that is expensive. You will also find that it's more expensive to stay in a beachfront property than even 1 or 2 blocks further back. Access to a body of water has historically been a determining factor of cities that survived, thrived, or died out. So why are so many Americans drawn to the ocean? When surveyed, more than 80% of respondents chose either a beach or cruise as their preferred vacation destination. With that in mind, let's look at some American hidden gems nestled along the expansive shoreline. And forget Malibu and Miami. This list will dive deeper into more undiscovered spots to experience the beach with less of a crowd. Whether you are planning the ideal vacation or hoping to relocate, these towns are for you. Number 11 is Northport, New York. Who knew that New York would make this list? Many people forget that Long Island is part of the Empire State and makes up 1,600 miles of America's shoreline. Unlike the Hamptons, which are overpriced and overcrowded, Northport is what it sounds like. It's north. On the North Shore, that is. The town has old world charm with some buildings dating back to the 1700s. In addition to the beach on the Long Island Sound, there are vineyards, antique shops, fresh seafood restaurants, a quaint main street, and picturesque harbor. The crime rate is non-existent. With the national average being ranked at a 4, Northport has a crime score of only 0.14. That's 28 times lower than the national average. For those that want more than just a vacation, the downside is that it is New York, and cost of living is higher than the national average. But you're less than an hour from New York City and have access to the Long Island Railroad. Whether you want a weekend getaway with beachfront vineyards or hoping to resettle to a lesser-known beach town, then check out Northport. Number 10 is Block Island, Rhode Island. Head to America's smallest state, nicknamed the Ocean State, and check out Block Island. It's New England, so you know the fall will be pretty. In fact, this island is perfect to visit year-round. Getting to Block Island is part of the adventure as you have to take a ferry to get there. There are boats departing daily from Rhode Island and Orient Point, New York, although the Rhode Island ferry is the only service that will transport a vehicle on the ferry. Check out the lighthouse because it's New England and they have some of the oldest and most unique lighthouses. When you're done swimming in the Atlantic, head back to shore for one of the various health and wellness spas. Check out local theaters and museums for art and culture like the Empire Theater or Spring Street Gallery. With a population of just 1,000 people, crime is low and traffic is non-existent. The cost of living is higher than most people would want to move to, but stay in one of their cottages, inns, hotels, or guest houses and enjoy New England any time of the year. Number 9 keeps us in New England by heading up north to York, Maine. York is the first town in Maine when you leave New Hampshire and defines everything you think of when you think quaint, historic New England charm. It is home to 3 18-hole golf clubs, 4 sandy beaches, and Mount Agamenticus, also known as Big A. Famous English colonial explorer Captain John Smith first explored York, Maine in 1614. With a town of 13,000, there is virtually no crime. To be fair, Maine is already one of the safest states. If you visit York in the summer, then head to Funorama. It's a beachfront arcade that will take you back to a time gone by. And of course, there is bowling. But not just any bowling. Candlestick bowling is unique to New England and the Canadian Maritime Provinces, so it's a must-see. If you are there any other time throughout the year, then check out the antique stores, Fisherman's Walk, the York Wild Kingdom, one of the distilleries, or get some Maine lobster. And of course, don't miss the Nubble Lighthouse, built in 1879, because it's New England. In fact, this lighthouse is so iconic that it is featured on the Voyage Golden Record, which is literally a golden record sent into space in 1977. It is a time capsule of sounds and pictures from life on Earth, and part of York, Maine made the cut. Number 8 is Capitola, California. Capitola is 6 miles east of Santa Cruz, but with far less tourists. The town is known for its multicolored houses lining the coast. It looks more like a painting from Greece or the Caribbean than it does Northern California. In Esplanade Park, visitors will find the beach. The seawall is an attraction in itself, highlighted by tiles painted by locals. Once there, you can surf, kayak, and swim, among other water activities. Capitola Village is filled with eclectic shops and tasty restaurants, which are not to be missed. The town is pretty mild year-round, so there's no bad time to visit. Crime is lower than the state and national averages, and while it's costly to live there, it's much cheaper to visit than nearby Santa Cruz or even San Francisco. For those hoping for more culture, check out the Capitola Historic Museum. Capitola isn't too far from Napa, so it's no surprise that there are wineries to sample local California wines. And of course, all the usual nature activities that accompany the beach. Number 7 is Cannon Beach, Oregon. This stretch of beach looks a lot like the rocky shores of New England and requires a short climb down to the shore. Located just about 80 miles north of Portland, Cannon Beach is best known as home to the iconic Haystack Rock. The beach has massive rocks, several stories high, jetting out of the ocean, creating a serene and unique viewing experience. If you visit from October to May, you will feel like you have the beaches to yourself in this quiet town. The town has only 1,500 residents, so you'll never feel overwhelmed with congestion, let alone tourists. If you come between December and January, you can whale watch during peak season right from the shore. While there, check out one of the craft breweries or craft distilleries, where you can not only sample local beer, but also locally distilled spirits, all with an oceanfront view, of course. History buffs can head to the Cannon Beach History Center and Museum and visit the cannon that gave the town its name, and learn about the Lewis and Clark expedition's connection to Cannon Beach. Number 6 is Edisto Island, South Carolina. Located just an hour south of Charleston, this town is very underrated. Edisto is perfect for a nice, traditional beach vacation without all the crowds and costs of mainstream beaches. Start your vacation by exploring Botany Bay, the island's unique nature reserve that's covered in driftwood and seashells. For those who enjoy the outdoors, go hiking or biking through live oak and palmettos, and be sure to check out a 4,000-year-old Native American shell mound. It's one of the few things left of the people who inhabited the land for millennia. Don't forget to check out the town's farmers market and have a meal at Whaley's, which is a former gas station that's been serving up fried oysters and crab cakes since the 1940s. If you are into wildlife, don't miss the Serpentarium. Yes, that's a real word. And meet turtles and alligators. Number 5 is Sanibel, Florida. Sanibel is situated on Florida's west coast on the Gulf of Mexico, about 130 miles due north of Key West as the crow flies. Sanibel Island is a paradise for nature lovers, sunbathers, and swimmers alike. Visitors can enjoy collecting shells on Bowman's Beach. The island's geography makes it the perfect place for seashell deposits. Sand dollars also litter the beaches and are fun to find and collect. A huge chunk of the island is protected, including a wildlife refuge which is great for people who enjoy birdwatching, kayaking, fishing, and even picnicking. Particularly fun if you come with a family. There is also a culinary scene with local spots for custard and seafood, as well as the obligatory local farmers market in the summer. For anyone wanting to relocate to Florida, which seems to be a trend these days, the crime is virtually non-existent, coming in at only a tiny fraction of both the national and state averages. But don't get too excited, because you certainly get what you pay for, and you will pay dearly to live on the island, with average home costs in the $1 million range. But it won't break the bank just to visit. Number 4 takes us across the Gulf of Mexico to Port Aranas, Texas. Port Aranas is the self-proclaimed fishing capital of Texas. For those who love the sport or hobby, they can enjoy 18 miles of beach as well as chartered deep-sea excursions, which can be fun for fishers and non-fishers alike. If swimming isn't your thing, like many beach towns, there's also kayaking, parasailing, golfing, and more. One amazing thing that this town has to offer is dolphin watching. That's right. Forget whale watching in Oregon, because here in Texas you can dolphin watch. If you find yourself traveling here in January, don't miss Restaurant Week, where you can pay a flat rate price to experience local Texas coastal cuisine. The town also boasts a vibrant nightlife and thriving art scene with museums and galleries. For those who like to shop, check out one of the many boutique shops and support the local economy. Number 3 is Cape May, New Jersey. New Jersey, often called the armpit of America, to be fair, it's mostly New Yorkers that say that, but alas, you get the point. Not many people think of New Jersey when they think of a beach vacation. Of course, there's Atlantic City, but that is known more for its gambling than its beaches. It's cliche to keep using the word quaint, but there really is no better word to describe Cape May's downtown. Nestled in the southernmost edge of New Jersey, Cape May is a perfect destination for beach lovers that also have a love of history and architecture. The town's architecture is dotted with iconic Victorians, cottages, hotels, summer homes, all giving off the vibe of a time gone by. While in the proverbial quaint downtown, walk down the brick sidewalks or take a horse-drawn carriage tour to marvel at the architectural wonders and pop into the local mom and pop shops for saltwater taffy. The Chalfont Hotel is the town's oldest hotel, but even if you decide not to stay there, then at the very least, plan a fried chicken dinner on its wraparound porch, which often features live music. Number 2 is Bar Harbor, Maine. Bar Harbor is up there, like way up there. It's situated about 3 hours north of Portland, Maine, and 4 hours and 45 minutes north of Boston for some geography perspective. Bar Harbor is a coastal town, but not a beach town. This isn't the place to come to sunbathe and swim, as the ocean is going to be too cold to swim even in the August heat. Bar Harbor is the gateway to Acadia National Park, as well as some of the most amazing whale watching in the country. Take a trolley tour of the harbor or go on the Lulu Lobster boat ride. It wouldn't be Maine if you didn't have fresh lobster. Make sure when you are there that you get to witness the awe of the ocean tides at Thunder Hole. Thunder Hole is visited year-round. It's a carved-out inlet along the rocky shoreline of Mount Desert Island. When a storm or the turning tide pushes waves into this narrow channel, the air escapes with a thunderous sound that is definitely worth checking out. And number 1 is Provincetown, Massachusetts, known as P-Town. New England stole the show with this list, and for good reason. Provincetown is a sleepy town with only 3,500 permanent year-round residents. During the high season, the town has 60,000 residents. This can be a blessing and a curse depending on if you want a quiet vacation or an energetic one. So choose your time of year to visit wisely. Provincetown is at the tip of Cape Cod, about a 2-hour drive from Boston. Provincetown earned its spot in American history when it was the first land seen by the Pilgrims on the Mayflower. In fact, the Mayflower Compact was drafted while the ship was anchored in the Provincetown harbor. This can be seen on the Mayflower trolley tour. In terms of things to do, Provincetown will not disappoint. It's also the first town on this list known for its LGBT-friendly atmosphere, with places specifically catering to that community. There's a hip art scene and, of course, clam chowder. Check out the natural beauty of the sand dunes, the man-made wonder of the lighthouse, and stroll down Main Street to see the colonial architecture. This hip town also has craft breweries with local hops and a fun nightlife. This historical town has everything you'd want in a coastal city. Even some ocean beaches for swimming, if you can handle the chilly water.